this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back or to get over your ex. This week, I want to talk about no contact and the power of time. Most people in no contact are very impatient. They don't understand that time is actually on their side. So stay tuned and I will explain. But first, I want to welcome back my beautiful no contact army. If you're being impatient when you're in no contact, then download my app Silencio. And if you feel like panicking, just hit the panic button and you will get a little surprise. And if you too would like to join our no contact army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification and you're in. And to read our manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com where you can read 2 free chapters before purchasing the book. So that concludes this video portion. Stay tuned for the audio and I will see you next week. Okay, let's talk about no contact and the power of time. And if this is your first time hearing the term no contact or your first time listening to me, let's define no contact. It means that when someone breaks up with you, there is no contact between you and your ex. You leave them alone, you don't call them, you don't text them, you don't watch their stories, you don't like their posts, nothing. You totally disappear. Okay, that is what no contact is. And most people who are in no contact are very impatient to hear from their ex. They just want to get out of no contact and hear from their ex. And even though many aspects of society are now about instant gratification, that's just not going to work when it comes to getting an ex back. Think of it this way. It takes 9 months for a human baby to be born. It takes 30 to 45 minutes to bake a cake, depending on the cake. It takes 12 years of schooling before you get to go to college, generally, unless you're really smart. It takes about 5 hours to fly from Los Angeles to New York, unless there's a strong wind. It takes about 16 years before you're able to get a beginner's driver's license. So why wouldn't you think that it's going to take time for an ex to change their mind and come back? Just as it took time for them to lose interest in you, for their interest level to go below 50%, it's going to take time to get that interest back up over 50%. People don't generally break up with you over one thing, unless it was something big like cheating. It's usually a series of things that lower their interest over time, and slowly the interest goes down until it's the last straw and they decide, that's it. And then you wonder, well, how could they break up with me just because I was 30 minutes late? But it's not because you were 30 minutes late. It's because of everything else that came before that. And that was just one last thing and they're like, okay, that's it. So when they start to doubt their decision to break up with you, it's not like they're going to reach out immediately. It's like, oh, I made a mistake. Let me call them right back or right away. No, just as when they start to doubt whether they should stay in the relationship in the first place, they didn't immediately break up with you. They're going to take time deciding that maybe they made a mistake. So for all you know, your ex could be at home wondering if they made a mistake and if they should reach out, but they're not yet ready to do it. And meanwhile, you're sitting around at home miserable, convinced that they've moved on or that they've forgotten you. And the breakup doesn't actually become a reality until you're actually gone. Before that, it's an idea that lives in their mind. But once they see the consequences of their actions, of their decision to break up with you, they start to experience the feelings that accompany those actions. And what are the consequences, you may ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here's the good part. You already know about the physical sensations that you're experiencing because of the breakup, not being able to eat or sleep, or the opposite, eating too much and sleeping too much, panic attacks maybe, night sweats, nightmares, feeling sick to your stomach, feeling like you're going to faint. I remember one time when I found out someone I was dating was cheating, and I broke up with him, and I was walking around feeling so weak, you could have literally knocked me over with a feather. So if you're feeling it, and your ex had true feelings for you, guess what? They're going to eventually be having physical sensations too, even though they were the ones who ended the relationship. And you may think they're not experiencing any physical sensations because they're not contacting you, they seem to be happy, or they're being very cold towards you, but that's because they're trying to move on, and so they have to cut off their feelings in order to not change their mind. That's why time is on your side, because the longer you're in no contact, the sooner they will start experiencing those physical sensations. And it's very hard to get anything done when you feel like that. You feel like a zombie, right? You're walking around, your body's there, but your mind is elsewhere. And one of the purposes of no contact is for them to no longer be able to put up with feeling like this and to reach out. They need to get to the point where they want to reach out. And by staying in no contact and not responding to insignificant texts and letting time do its thing, you cause these physical sensations and their anxiety to go up, and they will in turn reach out to you in order to relieve their anxiety. They need time to regret their decision to break up with you. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a few weeks. By taking time apart, whatever was bothering them about the relationship, they may realize that maybe it wasn't so bad after all, and they acted in haste. They may have thought the breakup was going to be easier on them, and that you would somehow still be a part of their life. That's why it's so important to not have any contact with them. They cannot have this realization if you're still in touch. And also, we can't forget about our friend Fab, Faded Effect Bias, which I talked about in my video about 7 reasons why the no contact rule works on everyone. I'll put the link up at the top on YouTube. Basically, it just means that as time passes, people forget the bad memories associated with a person, place, or thing, and they remember only the good. And that takes time. They can't regret their decision if they don't miss you, and they can't miss you if you're still around, watching their stories, liking their posts, responding to their breadcrumbs. You're just shooting yourself in the foot by doing that. And time is especially important if you're dealing with someone who has an avoidant attachment style. It's going to take them a lot longer to miss you and rethink their decision than someone with an anxious attachment style. So as time passes and your ex doesn't hear from you, and they see you're living your life on social media, even though when they broke up with you, they were sure they could get you back with the snap of the fingers, now they start to doubt that that would even be possible. The power dynamic is starting to shift in your favor as time passes. However, by breaking no contact, you're showing them that they can get you back at any time, and you're back to square one, back to where you were the day they broke up with you, where they had all the power and you had none. And the only way to make your ex regret their decision is to make them fear that they would not be able to get you back if they changed their mind. No contact is actually simple in the sense that you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just get on with your life and wait for your ex to contact you, and not even wait. However, it's difficult to execute, especially if you have an anxious attachment style. So instead of sitting around worrying about what your ex is up to during no contact, use that time to work on yourself so that whatever led to them breaking up with you, it won't happen again if they do come back, okay? And then one final thing, when you're in no contact, keep in mind the words of the Rolling Stones. Time is on my side. Yes, it is. So if you use your time wisely, your ex will regret their decision, and that is the first step to getting them back. So if you would like my help personally to get your ex back, contact me at theartoflove.net. The direct link is below every single video and podcast, and we will send you the rates. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to this as a podcast, please rate and review. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.